If you've ever found yourself planning and setting goals with genuine excitement, only to look around a few months later and realize that nothing has really changed, whew, let me tell you, you are not the only one. And it's not that you're lazy, it's not that you're unmotivated, you are stuck in a familiar loop. And this loop is just reinforced by old habits, old routines, and your old thoughts. You start the year full of energy, and then life gets a little noisy, and then we find ourselves just shifting into autopilot. And then before you know it, you are right back where you started, wondering how in the world time moves so fast and why things still feel the same. But here's the truth, you're not broken. You are just using an outdated version of yourself to build a future that requires something different, something new. And yes, while the year may feel like it is quickly slipping away, there's still so much time to realign. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 powerful steps that you can use to break out of that cycle. I personally do all 3 of these things, and they just get me out of my own echo chamber of my old habits, my old routines, and all of my old thoughts, so that I can actually have a year that I'm proud of and actually hit the goals that I want to hit and not be writing down the same exact thing next January. And these steps are not just helpful on their own, but they all work together. By the end of this video, you will have a practical framework that you can start implementing immediately to stop repeating the same patterns and actually follow through on what matters most to you. That way you can look back on your year and actually be really, really proud of yourself and hit your goals. I know that you're ready to break the loop and actually step into some real change, so let's go ahead and let's get into it. The first thing we have to do is we have to shift out of autopilot. We cannot create a new life using the same thoughts that created your old one. Because whether you realize it or not, you have had the same thought patterns day after day and year after year. You wake up every morning and the loop just starts again. The same regrets, the same dread, the same anxious feeling, and the same routines that keep you stuck in a life that does not reflect who you know you're capable of being. Our brains are a record of the past. So if you keep repeating the same thoughts, you keep reacting in the same way and doing the same things, your future's already decided. And it's not from a lack of motivation, it's literally from a lack of interruption. You cannot live in repetition and expect reinvention, which is why step 1 is all about disrupting the loop and getting you out of your own echo chamber. You have to teach your body what your future feels like before it ever actually happens. So you really have to define, what does success feel like to you? What does abundance feel like to you? What does confidence feel like? Whatever that future is that you want for yourself, you have to channel already having that in the present moment. So really think to yourself, whatever your goal is, imagine how you would feel day after day after day having that thing. And that joy that you feel, that gratitude that you feel, you have to channel it now. And that's kind of the cool thing, is our bodies and our brains, they don't know what's real and what's not. So if your body is feeling that emotion and channeling that energy in the present moment, it's not going to know that that future that you're imagining isn't real. It's going to think that it is, and then it's going to reflect in your outer world, because at that point you are actually embodying that energy. And what I love about that is it's not like just hope energy. We don't do hope around here, okay? We are definite in our future, and we're not sitting here just crossing our fingers hoping it would happen, leaving it to luck and chance. We are making it happen, and whenever you can pull that energy of the future into the present, you get so much power back. And that is literally how you collapse the gap between who you are now and who you're becoming. And it all starts with awareness. So to be very aware of your thoughts, be very, very conscious of every thought that pops into your head. Be very conscious on how you respond to external situations, maybe any setbacks that you have, any inconvenience, any fear, any doubt. And do not let a single thought slip by you without asking if it supports your future self. Would your future self be having this thought? And if the answer is no, then you need to reframe it. This is not toxic positivity or false positivity. What you're doing is you are realigning your energy. And that's why a lot of us just stay on autopilot, because we don't catch those thoughts we've had for so long, and we don't break the loop of our own negativity. We just stay sucked in. And whenever you can become so conscious of your thoughts, you can catch them immediately and you can say, whoa, this thought is not welcome. We need to spin this into something positive. And to be completely honest with you, your vision should scare you a little bit because you're aiming big, but it needs to pull you a lot. It has to be your guiding light. And the reason a lot of people fail at this, and I've had my own failures with it as well, even though I don't really like to call them failures, because I only consider it a failure if you don't keep trying. A reason a lot of people don't do this is because they're so unclear about what it is they want and who it is they want to be. And I don't mean something vague like, I need to get better with time. You need something that is going to put pressure on your decisions. And that is going to filter what you allow into your life, because it raises your standards. And that is going to force you to level up every single day. So here's how you're going to do this. Your vision needs to check these 3 boxes. It needs to be emotionally triggering. When you think about this vision and this future, you need to literally feel this in your chest. Emotion is energy in motion. So you have to make sure that whatever vision you have for yourself, it really is something you are emotionally driven for and you are so passionate about, because that's what's going to push you. Second thing is that it needs to be timeline bound. So you could do the 12 months for a whole year if you really want to. Personally, what I like to do is I like to do a 12-week year. I know some people do 75 hard. And what I really like about this is it puts a lot of good pressure on yourself. Between making a goal, say January 1st or whenever you make your goal, and setting it for 12 months, it's good to have that 12-month vision, but I feel like it gives you so much time to get distracted. It gives you so much time to put thought between your initial instincts and your actions, so you talk yourself out of things and you don't push yourself, and you end up thinking, oh well, I have 3 more months, oh I have X amount of time until the 12 months is over, and you can procrastinate a lot. So the reason I love especially the 12-week year is because you know that if you show up every single day, whether it's the 12-week year, whether it's 75 hard, you're going to get at the end of those 75 days, the end of those 12 weeks, you know, as long as you pushed yourself, you are going to be in a way better spot than where you started. So it's just really nice to see that finish line way sooner than the 12 months, because it gives you that sense of urgency. And we're really good as humans having that that timeline, I feel like, and it just gives you a lot more clarity. And whenever you can see that finish line and it's not 12 months down the road, sorry, my air conditioning just turned on. When you can see the finish line and it's not 12 months down the road, it lights a fire under your booty, okay? It keeps you going because you know how much every single day counts. There's no time to procrastinate, and there is no time to even question your actions. And the third thing is that it should be impact driven. It should actually change your life and not your schedule. So for me, this is YouTube. YouTube is so impactful to my life and to everyone else's life, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it actually makes a difference for people. It actually helps people, and that is what I feel like my purpose is. It is very, very, very purpose driven for me. So those are the 3 things that you really need whenever you think about your vision. I want you to be so brutally honest with yourself here. Ask yourself, what will I lose if I don't change this year? What will the consequences be? What will I gain if I do? The answers to these questions are what have to push you on the days where you do not feel like showing up. The days, if it's getting fit, the days you don't feel like working out, the days you don't want that protein shake. What is the consequence of not doing these actions? And for me personally, when I really think about this is a question I try to ask myself a lot, because it keeps you really focused and it really takes away the power of distractions that you're dealing with right now, because we all have our little things, whether it's family, friends, work, whatever they are, there's distractions in our life, even ourselves. These questions really put those distractions into perspective and show you how meaningless that they really are. And how if you ask yourself, if I am in this exact same spot a year from now? How am I going to feel? And for me, that scares the heck out of me. I want to be in a much better version of myself than what I am now, because we are continuously leveling up around here, and that is what you need to do, is just be continuously leveling up and growing and learning. And for me, thinking of being in the same position that I am now by this time next year, and not having grown and not having overcome the personal things that I try to overcome or need to overcome, that honestly scares me way more than putting in the actions to actually overcome it. So seriously, ask yourself these questions. Think about the consequences of not actually making this year different, and I promise you it will light a fire under your booty. I know it does for me. Let's take this just a little step further. I want you to create a future persona for yourself. Visualize her, sit with her energy just for a little bit. What does she wear? How does she speak? What boundaries does she hold? What routines does she have? What habits does she stick to? What's on her calendar? What's not on her calendar anymore? Get detailed and make her real. For example, I listened to Michaela J's podcast. It's amazing. I absolutely adore her. But she talks about this, and her future persona is MJ. That is how she refers to that version of herself that she wants to be. MJ is a next level version of herself. She lives in luxury. She shows up for herself. She hits her goals, and she operates from self-worth and not self-doubt. And you can even give this elevated version of yourself a name, and let that version of you be your accountability partner. You want to make her proud. Something else Michaela J talks about is the fly on the wall, what does she call it? Fly on the wall, not theory, but method, I guess. The fly on the wall method. So think about this elevated persona that you've created in your head. Think about her watching you every single day. What are the things that you do or that you think on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis that you would not want her to see? And that is going to highlight to you the things you really need to focus on changing, because you want the choices that you make today to be in alignment with her lifestyle. Because again, the wildest thing is that your body and your mind does not know the difference between reality and what's imagined. So if you can tap into those emotions of the future, your body and your mind are going to believe it's true. And then you'll automatically start making the decisions that reflect that reality. And that is when the shift really happens. You have to let that vision be soaked in gratitude and joy and abundance. And that is gonna raise your frequency, because you attract what you are, not what you want. Now, you didn't click on this video just to realize that you're stuck. You clicked on it because you wanted to break the cycle. So step 1 gave you that awareness, and step 2 is where things really start to change. We are going to build our personal power habits. The difference between the person who makes it and the person who doesn't is their standards. Let's be real for 1 second. You don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. And if you're not living as your future self, it's not that you're not capable. It's because your nervous system feels so comfy and so safe in your old patterns. You are comfortable in autopilot, and you're addicted to your excuses. That old version of yourself just feels so familiar and so safe that your body clings to it, even if your mind is telling you that you are ready for more. You have got to just shed this old identity, and a really good way to do that is to establish identity-based habits, because the goal here is to become the person that does these things without even questioning it and without even thinking about it. I want you to pick 3 personal power habits. Now, these are habits that your future self already has on lock. So don't overthink this. Just really ask yourself, what does the most powerful version of me do every single day? Maybe it's journaling first thing in the morning. Maybe it's working out for 30 minutes a day. Maybe it's speaking your affirmations in the morning as you do your makeup and as you brush your teeth. Whatever that is for you. And every single time that you do one of these habits, you are casting a vote for the identity and the person that you want to be. And every time you don't do them, you are casting a vote for the opposite. They talked about this in Atomic Habits, and I thought it was just a really good visual because I kind of picture like two boxes, and you can decide which one you want to put your vote into. Is it your future self, or is it continuing to feed this current version of yourself? And you're really faced with this choice every single day when you choose whether or not to show up for these power habits. For me, my power habits are definitely doing a 30-minute workout every day. I would say reading, honestly, nonfiction, and journaling. If I'm doing those three things, working out, reading, and journaling, I know and I feel that I'm showing up as that powerful version of myself, because I'm usually very quick with my mindset, very sharp, and I feel fit. My body feels strong, and I feel like the version of myself that I think of whenever I created that persona in my head. So those are my three personal power habits, and I know as long as I show up for those three things, I know that I'm getting closer to her. And if you are anything like me, my fellow overthinkers, if you overthink before you do these habits, just do the 5-second rule, which is a method that Mel Robbins came up with. Whenever you start to hesitate, just count down from 5. So just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do it. Do not give yourself any time to overthink. Just literally have the thought, count down from 5. Once you get to 1, your booty gets up and goes and does it. That's the biggest reason a lot of us are in this endless loop, as it feels, is because we put so much overthinking into these different habits and these decisions, and we put so much space between the thought and the action. We talk ourselves out of it and end up just casting a vote for our current version of ourselves. And we are not doing that anymore, okay? We're not overthinking. If you're an overthinker like me, try the 5-second rule. I promise it will change your life. This discipline is going to be the difference between a life that actually moves and then one that loops. And yes, I know that might sound a little intense, but you know what sounds a little bit more intense? Waking up 6 months from now and realizing that you're still in the same place, having the same thoughts, the same regrets, and the same habits, and still talking about someday. No more someday. Start now and show your future self that you are serious. So you've got the habits, and now it's time to make space for the things that you say that you want, because if nothing around you changes, it's only a matter of time before you don't either. You have to remove what's keeping you stuck. The life that you want will not fit into the life that you're tolerating. You cannot bring your vision to life if you're still clinging on to the old habits, the old people, and the old environments that literally drain you. That version that you're wanting to become, that persona that we've created, lives in a higher frequency than that. And that frequency is going to require some space, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So here is how you're going to make room for what you actually want. Trigger audit. I want you to take inventory on your life. I want you to write down 3 things, and this can be habits, it can be an app, it can be people, whatever it is. Write down what is making you feel very heavy and making you feel misaligned. And be really honest with yourself. Maybe it's scrolling on TikTok first thing in the morning. Maybe you're in a group chat that's just always gossiping. Or it's just that your physical space just feels like pure chaos. Now, whatever those 3 things are, I want you to pick one, and I want you to disrupt it this week. Delete the app, mute the group chat, move your space around. Just do whatever you have to do to shake up that energy. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to do a no more list. This is one of my personal favorite little mindset resets, and I want you to make a list of 10 things that your future self will not tolerate. This list is going to be sacred because it's going to become your boundary system. So a couple examples could be maybe no more saying yes just because you feel guilty. It could be no more skipping workouts just because they're inconvenient. Or maybe no more scrolling before going to bed and just considering that rest. And I want you to read this every Sunday, every day. Whenever you feel like you need it, I want you to look at it often, because this is kind of like your manifesto. This is how you're going to build new standards for yourself. You're also going to do the 1-hour reset. I want you to pick one space that feels chaotic in your life. Your desk, your closet, your nightstand, whatever it is. I want you to set your timer for 60 minutes, and I want you to just focus in on clearing that out. And this is so symbolic because you are clearing out your past to make room for the new future, because you will never manifest a new life just continuing to live in chaos and clutter and negativity. If you're always surrounded by mess and noise and just things that feel off, your nervous system is just gonna keep you in that survival mode, and you're not gonna thrive just trying to get through the day. You need actual space to breathe, and that starts whenever you stop tolerating the things that shrink you. If this video lit up something in you, please don't let it fade with the year. Let this be the moment that you decide to stop living the same year on repeat. You have everything that you need to make this your breakthrough year. You don't need January 1st, you don't need next Monday, you can start right now. So take these steps, apply them with intention, and start to notice how your reality is going to reflect your vision. If this video spoke to you, make sure to click that like button and subscribe down below so that I know it was actually helpful. And in the comments below, I want you to tell me, what is one thing that your future self would be so grateful that you did today? Let's make the rest of this year count. So thank you so much for being here and for watching, and we actually just crossed over 8,000 subscribers, and I can't even explain to you how happy and grateful I am for each and every one of you, and I really do hope these videos make a difference in your life. It just warms my heart getting messages from you telling me that something in the video really did click and something really made you want to make that change in your life for the better. And I'm always here for you. This is a community that I am so excited to build, and I am just so grateful that you're here. So thank you so, so much, and I cannot wait to catch you in the next video. Bye.